Have you ever found yourself saying yes to something when every fiber of your being screamed no? When you do that, you get that knot in your stomach. There is frustration that begins to bubble up because this is not the first time that something like this has happened. But what if you had the tools to change that pattern? That's going to be the focus of today's show. I'm going to welcome you to the Engineer Your Success podcast, where we're on a mission to help you design and live a life where you are winning at work and at home. I am your host and guide, Dr. James Bryant, and I hope that you are having a great week. In our last episode, we explored overcoming inner criticism for personal and professional success and how transforming negative self-talk lays the groundwork for self-advocacy. We talked about transforming from your own worst critic into your own best advocate. So today we're moving further along that path as we are going to talk a little bit more about the power of assertive communication. So this topic, I really believe, can help you bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. So imagine that there's a bridge spanning over a wide river. On one side is your current situation where you might feel unheard, undervalued, stuck. On the other side is the life and career situation that you want, where you're confident, respected, and thriving. So assertive communication is that bridge that will connect you to that other side. Again, there are other components to that bridge, but today we're going to focus on how can you communicate assertively. So by learning to communicate your thoughts, feelings, and needs with clarity and respect, you can advocate for yourself and create the life you desire. Assertive communication is your key to crossing that bridge and reaching your full potential. Did you know that people who communicate assertively are not only more respected, but also more likely to achieve their goals and have higher self-esteem? It's true. Think about it. And assertiveness really is a skill that anyone can learn, and it's a powerful tool for both personal and professional growth. One of the things that I like to do is have a common set of definitions. And when I think about assertiveness, they're not always positive things that come to mind. So I want to address this elephant in the room because I think that assertiveness gets a bad rap. So when you hear the word assertiveness, what comes to mind? Perhaps you picture someone who's aggressive, confrontational, or even rude. Or maybe you associate assertiveness to being demanding or selfish. But here's the truth. Assertiveness is none of those things. It's time to debunk the myths and reframe assertiveness for what it really is, an essential tool for clear, respectful communication. At its core, assertiveness is about expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs in a direct and honest way while also respecting the rights and boundaries of others. It's that sweet spot, between passivity and aggression where you advocate for yourself without steamrolling others. When you communicate assertively, here's some things that you'll be able to do. 1, express your opinions and ideals confidently, even if they differ from others. 2, set clear boundaries and expectations in both your personal and professional relationships. 3, say no to requests and demands that don't align with your values or priorities. And number 4, ask for what you need or want without feeling guilty or apologetic. Assertiveness is essential for self-advocacy because it allows you to stand up for yourself and your needs in a way that is both effective and respectful. When you advocate for yourself assertively, you send a message that your thoughts, feelings, and needs matter, not just to you, but to those around you as well. So let's look at some examples of assertive communication in action. So in a work setting, assertiveness might look like confidently sharing your ideals in a meeting even if they challenge the status quo. It's saying, I understand the current approach, but I believe exploring alternative solutions could lead to different or better results. Here's what I propose. In a personal situation, assertiveness could be expressing your feelings and needs openly and honestly. It's saying, I felt hurt and dismissed. You know, in the future, I really would like for you to listen and validate my perspective, even if you don't agree with it. When setting boundaries, assertiveness is being clear and firm about what you will and won't accept. It's saying, I appreciate you thinking of me for this project, but I'm at capacity right now and I won't be able to take on additional work. Can we revisit this in a few weeks when my schedule clears up? Again, it's really about communicating effectively. So in each of these scenarios that we just talked about, assertiveness allows you to advocate for yourself in a way that is both confident and considerate. You're not shying away from your needs or beliefs, but you're also not disregarding the needs and beliefs of others or yourself. Listen, of course, assertiveness isn't always easy. It can be uncomfortable and it will be uncomfortable, especially if you're not used to prioritizing your needs as well as other people's needs. Most people that I come across have a issue where they've been prioritizing other people's needs above their own, and there is a barrier or some resistance when it comes to speaking up for themselves, when it comes to being assertive. But here's the thing, and I think it may be for fear of rejection, for fear of not being accepted, but like any other skill, assertive communication gets easier with practice. It is a muscle that you can build over time. So I want to drive into some practical steps that you can take to start communicating more assertively. And so I like to use really simple frameworks. And this one is kind of a 4-part framework for crafting assertive messages. And it's called RISE, RISE. And so this process is designed to help you express your needs, concerns, and boundaries clearly, respectfully, while encouraging collaboration and understanding. So the R stands for relay the situation. So objectively describe the facts of the situation, avoiding judgment or blame. The I is for statements and thoughts and feelings. So express your emotions and needs using quote unquote I statements, taking ownership of your feelings without attacking the other person. S then is specify your needs. So clearly state what you want to see happen differently, making a specific and what I would say a reasonable request given the context of the situation. And 4 is explore solutions together. Invite the other person to share their perspective and work collaboratively towards mutually agreeable solutions. So RISE is adaptable to various situations, whether you're talking about personal relationships or you're in the workplace. But when you use this framework, you can enhance communication, build stronger relationships, and effectively address the challenges that you face. Let's put RISE into action. So listen to this scenario. I've noticed that I often receive new assignments with very short deadlines, sometimes even late in the day. The I part of that. I feel stressed and overwhelmed when it happens because it makes it difficult for me to prioritize my workload effectively and meet the deadlines for the other projects. I want to be able to manage my time and responsibilities in a way that benefits both me and the team. S for specify. Could we discuss a way to establish clear expectations and timelines for new assignments? Perhaps we could schedule a brief weekly meeting to discuss upcoming priorities or use a project management tool to track deadlines and workload. And E, explore, listen, I'm committed to doing my best work and meeting deadlines, but I need a bit more predictability to plan my days effectively. I'm open to your suggestions on how we can find a solution that works for both of us. So in this scenario, you can imagine there's a manager that is coming and providing some additional work or some deadlines for someone that works under them. And so in this case, the person is communicating to them about the deadlines and what may work best. There are some key considerations when you're addressing your manager. One is professionalism. Make sure that you maintain a respectful and professional tone throughout that conversation. And I would say another one is focusing on solution. Emphasize your desire to find a solution that works for both of you rather than placing blame on the manager. And then there's flexibility. Be open to hearing your manager's perspective. We really didn't have a dialogue here, but you have to be willing to hear and compromise. And, also, I would suggest putting your thoughts in writing if you feel that it would be a more effective way to communicate. But what I would do is I would write out your thoughts before you would have that verbal conversation and then read it, reread it, just to make sure that you're comfortable with what you're communicating. You may consider doing an email. It really depends on the scenario and the whether your boss is one that likes to review things via email or a conversation may work better. So we'll go through another scenario here. Here you're part of a team working on a project and you've noticed that meetings are getting sidetracked. And so let's put the RISE framework in action. So related situation, I've observed that our project meetings sometimes lose focus with conversations drifting away from the main agenda. So then we're going to move to the I statements for thoughts and feelings. I feel concerned that this might impact our project deadline or project timeline and overall quality. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page and using our time effectively. You notice that there's no blame there. You're just trying to state the facts and how you feel, specify your needs. I'd love to find ways to make our meetings more productive. Could we brainstorm some ideas together for staying focused and on track? And that kind of automatically leads to the E, exploring solutions. Perhaps we could try setting a clear agenda before the meeting, using a timer to keep discussions on point, or assigning a facilitator to guide our discussions. What are your thoughts? So again, this is all about putting that RISE framework into practice. So as you think about incorporating this into your daily activities, your daily routines, both at home and at work, I want you to start small. That's number one. So if assertiveness feels daunting, begin by practicing in low stakes situations. This might mean expressing your preference at a restaurant or asking a store clerk for help or setting a small boundary with a friend. Because as you build confidence, gradually you'll work to more and more challenging conversations. You will build that assertive communication muscle. Number two, and I say this a lot in almost every situation, practice self compassion. Remember that assertive communication is a skill. And like any other skill, it takes time to master. Be kind to yourself as you navigate this learning process. If a conversation doesn't go as planned, treat it as a learning opportunity rather than a failure. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Number three, and I mentioned this before, is prepare and rehearse before entering a situation where you want to communicate assertively. Take time to prepare. Write out your key points and practice saying them out loud. You can even role play with a trusted friend or a mentor or as part of one of your coaching sessions. The more that you rehearse, the more confident and grounded you'll feel in that actual conversation. Four, you can remember, use the RISE network, relay the situation, which is R. Use the I statements for your thoughts and feelings. S is clearly state what you want to see happen differently. You want to make a specific, reasonable request. And E is all about exploring these opportunities together, looking for some mutually agreeable solutions. Number five is set boundaries proactively. Don't wait until you're feeling overwhelmed or resentful to set boundaries. Communicate your needs and expectations up front, whether it's in a new relationship, a new position at work, a new project, or in a family dynamic. The more proactive you are about setting boundaries, the less you'll need to defend them later. Assertive communication is a powerful tool for self advocacy, but it's also a catalyst for positive change in the world around you. As you continue to practice and embody this skill, remember that you're not just advocating for yourself, you're advocating for a world where everyone feels empowered to communicate with clarity, confidence, and respect. When you model assertive communication, you give others permission to do the same. By standing up for your needs and boundaries, you contribute to a culture of respect, empathy, and open dialogue. You never know who might be inspired by your example to find their own voice and become their own best advocate. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with a challenge. So, this week, I encourage you to practice one assertive communication strategy each day. It doesn't have to be big or high stakes. You can start small and build from there. Maybe it is you expressing your preference to your partner, or setting a boundary with a colleague, or speaking up in a meeting with your great ideal. But each day, look for one opportunity to flex your assertiveness muscle. Remember, the goal is not perfection, but progress. And each assertive communication is a step towards becoming your own best advocate. So be kind to yourself, stay committed to the practice, and watch how your confidence and self advocacy skills grow. Until next time, this is Dr. James Bryant reminding you that your voice matters. Keep using it to advocate for yourself and bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Speak up, stand up, and cross that bridge using assertive communication. And I'm going to end this podcast like I end every podcast. And as this, many people know what to do, fewer people know how to do it. And there's a select group of people that follow through, do it, and they are living the life of their dreams. They have crossed that bridge to their more confident self. And it is my desire for you to be part of that select few. And I want you to be great this week. Remember that you are worthy, you are worth the effort, and you will get it done. Thanks.